welcome to vChat, episode number 30. I'm David Davis from TrainSignal and VMwareVideos.com.
And I'm Simon Seagrave from techhead.co.uk.
And I'm Eric Siebert from vSphereland.com.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining me on our special XXX Olympics Edition vChat number 30. We reached a milestone, and we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. So I guess let's get started by catching up. What's been going on with you, Eric?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Just been trying to keep up with work, and I think it's pretty the quiet before the storm. Before VMworld hits, it's coming up pretty soon. So trying to make plans for that, and I believe we're all going to that. So it should be a fun time there. But nothing more than that really.
Cool. Simon?
Yeah, a similar sort of thing. So I think last time we met, I've just finished DMC World, and that was a crazy busy time for me. Since then, I've got married, so I had the wedding. So ring to prove it now, and back into work, back to reality again now, and things are ramping up, as you'd imagine, for VMworld. Quite actively involved with various aspects of that. Glad it's back at San Fran again. I'm looking forward to sort of heading over there. It's going to be sort of long, busy hours again, but no, it should be good actually. I know there's a lot of really cool stuff in the pipeline. Some very cool announcements that are going to be announced and what have you. It's kind of cool. Things quietened down despite the wedding, what have you. So I've had enough time to tidy up my man cave here a little bit. You couldn't tell, but I have actually tidied it up, and I'm ready to go with my lab. I'm about to overhaul my my home lab, the vSphere home lab here. So I expect a load of blog posts out around that, and overhaul the TechHead website as well. So I think I've been running the same theme for about 2.5, 3 years. So I thought, right, enough's enough. I've got to overhaul that. So I've done all that now. It's looking better. Still needs a little bit of refinement, but that's been me really. So full steam ahead into VMworld now, which is it's pretty much bang on a month away now. So
a month away. Yep.
Yeah.
So are you competing in the Olympics at all there?
I was going to, but it'd be too unfair if I was, obviously, to the others. So
chugging, or do they have beer pong this year? I heard that was being a contender for maybe adding that.
Not that I've heard of at all. No. And they dropped pie eating as well. So yeah.
Is it crazy around there? Like, I know you're a bit out from the city, but
yeah,
I imagine it's pretty crazy in the.
It is. I've got quite a few friends up in London, and I know quite a few people in London actually are taking their annual leave now and actually heading out of town or out of country for the Olympics. Because if you live anywhere remotely near East London, it's pretty chaotic up there at the moment. We're recording this on the Friday, so the Olympic opening is tonight. Well, tonight UK time. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how it stacks up with China. I don't think we're going to be able to compare like for like on that. I mean, with the resource and manpower that China has. So it's going to be interesting. But up there, yeah, it is pretty crazy. What they have done, I mean, those of you that have been to the UK and to London in particular before, you'll know the main roads in and out of London. I mean, they're pretty good, pretty wide, but they do get snarled up pretty easily. So what they have done to get the officials and the various athletes in and out, they've actually taken up one of the lanes completely, and you're not allowed to drive in there now. So they've spray painted Olympic symbols or circles, on that particular lane, and you're not allowed to use that. There's really heavy fines. I think about £1,000 if you're caught driving in there. So unfortunately, the usual traffic jams you have because of sort of the lack of lanes and what have you, has been made even worse because they're down one lane at the moment for the duration of the Olympics. So everyone's sort of steering well clear, and I think a lot of people working from home at the moment.
Yeah, cool. How about you, David? What's going on?
Oh, I was just going to ask Simon, so is it true you dressed as Luke Skywalker and you were married by Yoda in your wedding?
Yeah, that's right. Came down the aisle to the Imperial March. No, unfortunately my other half wasn't having that at all. I did suggest it on more than one occasion, but I don't know, for some reason she just wasn't up for it. So pretty unreasonable, I think.
Being in the UK, you'd probably want Doctor Who instead of Yoda there.
Yeah, and you could go do your honeymoon in the TARDIS, with tin cans right off it.
That's sweet.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, so I've just been making some more video training. I created a Cloud Essentials course that Simon was nice enough to review for me, related to the CompTIA certification. So that was pretty interesting. And yeah, and we just released Scott Lowe's new Designing vSphere course, his first video training course. It's related to the VCAP DCD. Yeah, so it's been really popular. We're really excited about that. I actually reviewed the course and watched it myself, and now I need to go take the DCD. But he's a very, very smart guy, so it's a good course.
Great. Yeah, I definitely with your course I reviewed there, David. It was good. It was about 6 hours in length of videos and stuff. I did it in the evenings over the weekend and stuff, and yeah, it was good. It was interesting. CompTIA it's some very sort of high-level sort of concepts you've got to get your head around for cloud and everything. So anyone sort of looking at doing that certification, it was definitely it was very good. And for me, it definitely filled in a few gaps as well. You think you know things, but there's always stuff that you don't know. So it was good for myself there. Plugged a few gaps here and there as well around my knowledge. So yeah, no, definitely good stuff.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, and then other than that, just getting ready for VMworld. We've already got vendors, calling, wanting to give me a preview of their new product. Third-party companies and such. So going to be some exciting new releases there.
Yeah, it's always an interesting time of year. Though, so I don't know about you guys. I always get I wouldn't say inundated, but I do get quite a number of different emails in from vendors and marketing companies as well, saying, "Hey, do you want to meet with this person or that person at the event and what have you?" Which is very flattering, that people think you're significant enough to or either that they've got the wrong email address, one of the two. But it's kind of cool, and the big event or VMworld's coming up again when you start receiving those emails about a month out. And of course, the occasional party invite as well. They're always definitely well received as well.
Yep, gotta have those.
Oh yeah. Hey, and speaking of parties, I see there's a VM Underground again on the Sunday night before.
Yeah, they haven't announced the registration or anything yet. And I checked the other day. I don't know when that's going to open.
Yeah, I think it's a case of watch the space. They'll probably announce it, and then it's going to be the normal scrum of everyone trying to get in there to get the tickets and everything. But I take my hat off to those guys, because there's a lot of work that goes into it, more than I think most people actually appreciate. Because they've got sponsors, so therefore they're dealing with money and what have you, and so therefore you need a separate bank account, and there's a lot of implications around sort of just putting a once a year event together like that. So well done, guys. It's pretty good. Something I'm looking at doing is a VBS Tweetup on the Saturday. So for those people in the Bay region, or those people that have flown in perhaps a day or two a little bit earlier, going to be doing it's going to be very impromptu. We did it a couple of years back. Unfortunately, I didn't make it over last year to do it again, but it's going to be pretty laid back. It's going to be more of a sort of casual tweet-up type event, more than anything structured. It's going to be unsponsored, so completely community, pay your way type of thing out there. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll get a good crowd of people along again, and just a good opportunity to catch up, in a social context with people to, talk about, what we think is going to be announced at the show, and what people have been doing for the last year or two. So,
and it's all day early this year, and that all starting on Sunday now instead of Monday. So, more an extra party day inserted in there too as well. Since typically the VMware thing was on a Monday evening, and now it's on a Sunday evening. That gives Monday and Tuesday for party days for vendors, and then Wednesday the VMworld party. Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of sore heads around, I think.
Now looking, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, Eric. I mean, is this your first VMworld? Is it working for HP?
Yeah. Or
yeah. So
no, actually, it'd be second. I was barely there, just like a few weeks last time.
Ah, right. Because I was going to say it's going to be interesting. I'd be interested to get your take on it actually, because when you're working on the other side of the booth, as it were, it's a totally different experience going along, because there's definitely long hours, and people seem to think, oh, it'd be great, you get to go to all the parties. Not at all. By the time you hit the evening, you're just so tired, and half the time you've lost your voice because you've been talking all day. I mean, it's great fun, but it's a different experience altogether. So
yeah, for sure, yeah,
a lot of fun.
And just travel planning and that, just couldn't believe the rates for hotels out there. It's insane. And that there was a couple around 300, right around some in the area there if you look. But a lot of them are 500 to 700 hours a night. It's just like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only downside. I mean, I actually I had a hotel room booked over there. Oh God, months and months ago, because you can never tell whether you're going to be sent there for work or not. And for me, it's quite a significant event there, so I always want to make sure that I'm there. If I wasn't going with work, I'd just take annual leave and do it that way. I've done it that way before with a previous employer. And you pay your way therefore you're looking for bargain basement hotel, nothing too horrible. So yeah, I had a hotel room booked about 3-4 months ago up in Chinatown somewhere, because you definitely got to get in early to get those lower rates, but fortunately I'm heading there with work now, so yeah.
And a lot of sold out ones too. If you go look through the listings there, a lot of them say sold out, so it's getting slim pickings, and you pretty much have to migrate farther and farther away from Moscone and that to get rooms or get more affordable rooms in that. So quite a challenge compared to Vegas, where practically one hotel can hold the entire attendee thing. Here you're spread out among so many different hotels. It's a lot different. But I like San Fran overall. I like the the atmosphere there, the city and all that. There's more to actually get outside of the event, and that you can walk around. Whereas typically at VMworld in Vegas, you're stuck in the Venetian the whole time, and that. So I think it'll be fun again. It's going out there, and I think the last time I was up there was with you, David. Wasn't that for the vSphere launch?
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm looking forward to VMworld again, this year. Just a quick update on the VM Underground party. I know that they had to move the place they're going to have it at, the venue, and but this year it's going to hold even more people. It's going to hold 750 people, so that's going to be the largest VM Underground yet. So they said they'll be announcing it very soon.
So do they have a venue? And that, because what was it before? It was some Irish bar or something, or no? It was actually the Thirsty Bear.
It was
or
Thirsty Bear, wasn't it?
Thirsty Bear, yeah. So they.
Oh no, actually, it wasn't Thirsty Bear last year. Actually, no. It was Thirsty Bear the year before. I think last year they did something. Well, actually, because obviously it was in Vegas last year, so it was somewhere else. But I think it was quite a bit larger last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nine Fine Irishmen then.
Had different floors or something. I didn't go, but yeah, I heard it was quite large.
Yeah. So it should be pretty cool this year. Are you guys going to see Bon Jovi?
Of course.
Yeah,
finally a band I like.
Yes.
I am too. I don't think I've ever been to see any of the other bands, and I've always wanted to go see the bands. I just always end up having something else to do or whatever, or I'm too tired, or so. But I'm going to make a point to go see this one.
Yeah.
I think the last band I saw at a show was actually would have been VMworld 2 years ago at San Fran. I was there with Eric, and remember we had Steve Herod walk past us. So Steve Herod, and he had a few people with him as well.
Yeah, that was
that was in Excess, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I was in Excess for that. Yeah, because it was Foreigner the year before, so yeah.
At Partner Exchange, I did get to see the guys who sing the Big Bang Theory theme song.
Oh, the heck was that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but that was cool to see that. In fact, I recorded it, but that was the only song I recognized that they sang. So
okay, I actually left early. I didn't really care for those guys too much. And that, when I was at HP Discover too, they had Sheryl Crow and Don Henley, and that's another two I didn't really care for all that much. And you had to go all the way down to another hotel to see it and all that, so I skipped that one.
But everybody likes Bon Jovi. I mean,
you gotta love Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
Definitely. I was excited to see that when they announced it.
Yeah. Hey, so guys, any new additions to your home labs or anything like that? Any new geeky gadgets or devices or anything like that?
Gadgets. Not really here. I actually got to start putting my lab back together, and that I hear there's a new vSphere release coming sometime, so I may just wait for that and go just redo everything on whatever that version is, and try to get everything all back and up and running again, and start playing around some more with it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got to invest a lot of time getting all my kit. I mean, at the moment it's long overdue an overhaul, so I'm just strip everything back to bare metal again, fresh install and everything, and that'd be good. Hopefully, might get some time this weekend to do that.
So I did add a microserver, so now I have 2 microservers and 2 ML110s. But I haven't set up that microserver yet too, so I need to work on that.
Yeah, I've got to get some more memory. Yeah, I've got a 110 G7 I've got here, and I've barely got it out of the box, to be honest with you. So it's got the standard, I think, 1 gig or 2 gig of memory in it. So yeah, the memory's so cheap now. I've got to just get organized enough to actually order some, take it up to the 16 gigs.
Yeah, the same here. You know, that microserver came with, I think, 1 gig, and just putting 8 gig, the max into it, was only like $70. So it was pretty easy to do.
Well, it's interesting, actually. The microserver, I've got a blog post drafted about it at the moment. You can actually take the microserver up to 16 gig. It's obviously unsupported and undocumented, etc., but it is actually possible.
Oh, really?
So you actually can take them right up to the 16, which is good, actually. I mean, the CPU, people always talk with the microservers, the CPU being the bottleneck there, but to be honest with you, if you're starting all your VMs up at once, let's say you've got half a dozen VMs in your lab and you're starting them up at once, yeah, it will bottleneck, it'll max out for, maybe 3-4 minutes, something like that. But after everything sort of quietens down, and assuming you're not trying to run a small business off it or something like that, the CPU, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I don't run a lot of big workloads in my lab, so to me they're just VMs running, that I can use for doing whatever and that. So for me that's okay. If I want heavier workloads, I can move them over to the ML110s. Yeah,
I'm the same as well. I've got to get my EMC VNX VSA spun up again as well. Yeah, I've got an older version at the moment. I think I'm still running the Clarion VSA in my lab at home here, so I've got to update that to the VNX as well. So that's on my to-do list as well. Yeah, so yeah, lots to do.
Yeah, I need to get some more stuff because my servers are getting a little bit old now, so I might start looking around to see what else is out there.
Yeah, I just bought a couple Supermicro 1U servers. They've got 24 gigs of RAM and 2 quad-core CPUs off of eBay used for like $700 each. And unfortunately, I'm going to put Windows Server 2012 Hyper-V on them to work on a Hyper-V course that I'm going to be starting here soon. But I might also try ESXi at some point to see just how much they can handle. So, and then I'm going to connect those. I've got a Drobo that has 12 gigs, which is the most, or 12 terabytes, which is the most storage I've ever had, and I don't even know what to do with it in my home lab. And then to top it all off, I just bought a Retina MacBook Pro.
Oh, really? Oh, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what size screen did you go for?
It's the 15-inch. It's super thin.
That's a good size.
Yeah, the screen is amazing, but there's also some interesting things about, I don't know if you guys know, I didn't really realize it when I bought it actually, how they do the resolution. It's like this massive, crazy resolution that's shrunk down into that screen. And so a number of programs having to do with graphics have to be rewritten. Like my screen capture program doesn't work anymore because it doesn't understand that weird, resolution, however it works.
Okay.
And some like video editing programs and stuff like that. So it's interesting. But it is a well-built machine. Very thin, very light, long battery life. So
that's pretty good. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. A few people are... Sorry, yeah, I've heard the same thing. A few guys at work have bought the new Retina display models, and yeah, we've got a few applications that we use for work that don't quite don't translate so well. Yeah, especially, for example, with WebExes. I know when you're displaying your PowerPoint up there, it appears quite small, because obviously for the WebEx you need to drop the resolution down. So I know that's one complaint.
Yeah, I had that, in fact. I was using GoToMeeting and trying to show my PowerPoint, and I changed the resolution on the screen to 1024 by 768, but they still said, no, it's super big, and, so I had to use the old Windows laptop. But, yeah.
Have you upgraded to the new Mac OS X yet, the 10.8?
No, I haven't.
Mountain Lion?
Tried that yet.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. I've heard it's stable anyway.
Yeah, for $20, you can't go wrong really in that. They said with that Retina MacBook Pro, you got that power nap now, where it can update email and all that stuff while it's in sleep mode. It's only
That's pretty
available
cool.
on the newer models because I got this iMac here, and that it's eligible. I can upgrade. It's new enough where I can upgrade, but you can't use that feature on this.
Huh. Yeah, I kind of thought, you know, I've had my MacBook Pro now, must be what, just over coming up for about 2.5 years. And I kind of thought that, you know, when the new models came out, if they were good, I'd buy one. I just can't justify it because it's still going. I've got the i7 in there. I've updated the drives in there. So I'm using the OptiBay in there. So I've got a 500 gig hybrid drive in there. That's for my large capacity stuff. And then I've got a 128 gig SSD in there, and it's a good laptop. You know, I need to update the SSD in there because, as you do after a while, you run out of capacity on that. But which is something else. I don't know whether you guys have seen the price of SSDs recently. I mean, I haven't been looking probably for the last 6 months, and I've been pleasantly surprised as to how much the prices have dropped. You know, over here in the UK, I can buy a 500 gig SSD from Crucial, you know. Oh no, of Corsair, sorry. It's a reputable brand for just over £300, which is pretty good.
Not bad.
You know, 6 months ago that would have been about probably £500 or $450, something like that. So.
Yeah, for me, 60 gig doesn't cut it, and that I mean 120 is the absolute minimum for your boot drive and that. So it's nice to be able to get it even higher than that, up to 250, 500 and that. That's really where you get this kind of the space you need, the breathing room to stretch out a little bit on that drive.
Yeah. I mean, I had a special come through this morning. It was a UK-based one, but it was a 3 terabyte Western Digital. No, a Seagate Barracuda drive, a 3 terabyte drive for about £110. You know, for 3 terabytes, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, my little computer I built here with the SSD, the boot drive, and that, I kept getting blue screens constantly. They started happening when I started with Diablo 3, and I was thinking, typically it's video drivers and stuff like that. So it kept happening, and I dug into the blue screens and found out it was memory related and that. And all that fancy Corsair memory I put in here part of it was bad and that. So I loaded up that memtest, onto you could boot off the flash drive and that, and just run memtest directly off the flash drive, and it found the bad DIMMs and that. So I swapped those out, and it's been fine ever since.
Wow, that's
interesting.
Cool. So what new cool software apps have you guys seen out there? Any new releases, free tools, anything?
Yeah, well, there's been an update to. Well, I've updated my copy of Snagit now. I think both you guys use Snagit, right, for screen capturing and what have you, and it's great if you're doing blogging or even for work, presentations, anything like that. Snagit's fantastic. Definitely recommend it. It's pretty cheap. I mean, I think it's about $40 or something like that. But yeah, I've just upgraded to the latest version. There's a few nice new little features in there. So that's about the only software that I've bought probably in the last month or so. I've probably only got about sort of 6 different pieces of software that I just use day in, day out. That would be sort of email, Microsoft Word, Snagit, LiveWriter for the blogging, and obviously the various web browsers and what have you, as well as vCenter. That's pretty much it. I don't really use too much else. Yeah. What about you guys? Any new utilities or cool bits of software you've come across?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of new VMware-based tools in that. Wasn't there some new flings and some other things? I've seen some vendors do some things. I know Veeam has that new zip utility for backing up VMs or zipping them up, and some other stuff going on. So
yeah, there's the VMware Lab team have been quite busy, haven't they? The last sort of 3-4 months or so, there's been quite a few coming out. I see the latest one. I've just brought it up here. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the VMware View, the controlled recompose script. That looked pretty good, and that allows you to do, as the name suggests, controlled recompose on a view-linked clone pool of virtual desktop. So that looked pretty good. I haven't had enough time to play around with that yet, but there's something I will be doing.
There's another one called Guest Reclaim, which I don't know why VMware released this and that, because it's not for ESX. It won't work with ESX. It only works within Windows, and it just looks like basically S-delete within Windows and that. It just looks like the way they have it positioned and worded on the site, it looks like you can use it inside of ESXi with Unmap, which isn't really supported now directly, so it doesn't work with that. So I was reading into that one to figure out, what the heck it was about in that, because with all the unmapped problems, with it being the automatic support actually being completely axed out of update 1, and that even if you enable it via that advanced setting, it's still disabled, it won't work, period, and that you can only do it via VMKFS tools. Why they released this guest reclaim thing, and I guess you could use it with if you had an RDM or something and you wanted to do it within the VM running, because it has to run inside the VM. It's a Windows utility and that. So I found that one a little bit strange and not very useful.
Yeah, I tried to actually write an article on that, and after about 15 minutes of messing around with it, I figured out that it was just a command line tool, and like you said, it really wasn't that useful, and I ended up writing about something else. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Veeam, they released Veeam Zip, which is kind of like a free backup tool to make their virtual machine backups portable and such. It's really nice. Then they also released a new tool that allows you to, like, browse and pull out Exchange data from an Exchange server backup of some kind. I haven't looked into that, but it looks interesting. Yeah, and then, there's going to be a number of other free tools announced at VMworld that I've heard about but can't, yet talk about. So it's an exciting time, for free tools. I hope the vendors will keep that up.
Yeah. So David, are you doing your session again with Kenny this year around sort of the must-have VMware tools?
No, unfortunately, our free tool session was not accepted at VMworld this year. So. Actually, I didn't get any sessions, but as it turns out, later I was offered to moderate a session on VMware vCenter Operations Manager, where we'll bring in a customer, and there's also a number of other judges that have been on this panel to decide the winner of the customer, the customer winner who's going to come and speak. I was on the panel with Duncan Epping and Eric Sloof and a couple other people. So we ended up selecting one winner for the U.S. and one winner for Europe, and I'll be the moderator at the U.S. panel. Someone else will be the moderator in Europe because I'm not going to VMworld Europe. But so I actually ended up, in a roundabout way, being listed in the speaker list for VMworld. So that's cool. What about you guys? Are you guys?
I don't think anybody got any sessions. I mean, if you look at all the rejections out there this year, I was partially on the content committee on the partner side in that, and there was a huge amount of sessions as usual in that, but I think probably 3/4 of them are VMware sessions and that, which doesn't leave a heck of a lot for the partners and the independents to get in there and that. So, and the reality is that there really needs to be a kind of maybe a conference that's all no VMware, and that it's all just customers, independents, partners, delivering sessions and that, kind of like they do at the vMugs, but on a more larger scale, I think, because it's just too hard to get in anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't attempt this year. I mean, part of the reason was I was in full EMC world mode at that stage, and I just didn't have time. And to be honest with you, it's been getting tougher and tougher over the last few years, and I could have spent a lot of time putting in for the sessions, but I just didn't feel that I probably stood a good chance. So I know of a few people that have got sessions, which is cool, but you're right, there's less and less every year, sort of independents, and some vendors, HP, EMC, we've still got a few type of thing, which is good. But definitely, I think VMware have changed their focus a little bit, haven't they, as to around the sessions, and I guess as their company grows as well, and they get more and more products, and into their portfolio through stuff they've developed or acquisitions, they've still got a 4-day window where they've got to try and cram in as much as they can, and I suppose maybe that's part of their thinking behind it. They've just got more people, more products to talk about within those confined 4 days. So
what they need to do is grow the available sessions. Then I've been to HP Discover now twice, and they have a lot more sessions there. They just have more rooms, more time slots and all that to be able to fit all that stuff in, give people the choice of choosing, and they're recorded at VMworld and that. So I think they really need to grow the number of sessions, put more out there in that, and just have a lot more slots available, because they are growing, like you said, so much.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that would be cool. And also having some sort of, they called it, the Unconference would be cool, like you said, with just customers and independents and partners. That would be cool as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, that'd sort of be like like you say, sort of like an unconference almost, Yeah, so maybe that's something we'll see, pop up, in years to come. It's something that I actually looked at doing a couple of years back, a while back, and I did get to the point as well. I was still an independent. So basically, there wouldn't be a couple of vendor sessions, but everything else is really community-based. So the whole thing was the hub around, it being for the community, about the community. So, we'd have a few sort of celebrity bloggers in there doing their thing. As well as that, though, it'd just be sort of a lot of people out there in the field, in the trenches, basically relaying their thoughts or views or lessons learnt, things, to their peers, type of thing. So yeah, never know. That might be something that increases in popularity in future years. Who knows?
Yeah. So before we wrap up, guys, any final topics? Eric, you want to talk about?
No, just looking forward to VMworld again. What's that?
Any new books on the way?
No, not for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a break, and maybe for vSphere 6, I'll do something, or whatever the next version is. So, but yeah, nothing here.
Cool, Simon.
Yeah, a couple of things. Free e-learning course that I'd point out. I don't know. Have you guys done too much with VMware vCenter Operations Manager yet, or vCops?
Not yet. I want to get more into that, and that's one that's been on my list to play around with more.
Yeah. So if you get a chance, definitely, spin it up in your lab, take a look. We used it quite extensively at EMC World for our hands-on labs, and I know the VMworld team do that as well. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. The metrics it can bring out, and how it displays it. It displays it in a very, very clear and easy to digest manner. So yeah, definitely check that out. But there's an e-learning course. I'm not going to give you the URL, but if you do a Google either on VMware's site, but look for VMware vCenter Operations Manager Fundamentals. It's a 2.5-hour course.
Oh, wow.
Looks pretty good. So if you're thinking about trying it out, take a look at that first. And I guess the other thing as well is around exams. The VCAT 5 DCA exams now being released into the wild. And people can go ahead and register now. Something I want to try and get done before the end of the year, but we'll have to see.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm actually going to be one of the 3 authors on a new VMware Press VCAP DCA 5 book that'll be out probably around the 1st of the year.
Very cool.
Yeah, and there will be a VCP 5 VMware Press preparation book released at VMworld. And I'm happy to say it will have a DVD in the back with train signal videos inside. So that's exciting. And then I think that's all I got. This has been an awesome vChat. Thanks.
Yeah, great chatting to you guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll see you in person at VMworld.
VMworld, yeah. A couple of weeks' time.
VChat.
Thank you for watching this episode of vChat, the latest in virtualization and cloud computing news and how-to. Eric, Simon, and David want your feedback, so send questions or ideas for future vChat topics to vchat@trainsignal.com.